100%. And yourselves today, moving on to City, the Gvardiol deal is now complete. That's going to happen around 77 million. They're talking about now it being so not quite the world record fee for a centre back that some outlets had claimed. 77 million. I think Jason Burt in the Telegraph has confirmed that. I'm sure Fabrizio might have put a tweet out as well. But that's over the line and done. Your first real marquee signing of the summer. How happy are you with Gvardiol? And where do you think he plays? What position and who kind of drops out in your opinion, if he starts straight away, that is?
I think he'll play left-sided, so he'll either play left-back or he'll play left-sided centre-back with Diaz. As you've seen City this season, they play the four centre-backs across the back line. He's young, he's aggressive. He's got a mistake in him. We played him in Leipzig, I was out there, and he kept Haaland relatively quiet. We played him at the Etihad and Haaland scored 5 and smashed him all over the park. Literally smashed him all over. He was getting knocked all over. He was all over the floor. He got a bit of a shock. So he's very young, and I think that I've seen Messi do it to him. I've seen Messi in the World Cup tear him apart. So listen, he's a young lad. He's a bit naive, but he's got all the attributes to be a great centre-back. City's bought him for the potential. They bought him to bring him in the team now to learn off Ruben Diaz, Nathan Ake. And I'm sure he's going to become a top-class defender. I'm happy with him. You know what I mean? It's a good signing. We are looking different at the back now. Ruben Diaz, John Stones, Akanji, Ake, Kyle Walker. It's not a bad back line, Terra. You know what I mean? So,
no, you're right.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to get him on board and get him in the squad. And he's a winner as well. You know what I mean? He's a winner. He's got that winning mentality that Pep always looks for. I don't just look for the talent. You've got to have that mindset as well, where you want to be a part of this squad and you want to win. You can't just turn up and shit yourself because you won't do anything in this team. You know what I mean?
No, I agree. I agree. I think he's very talented. He's raw. So, yes, you're going to have those games where that rawness will be exposed. The inexperience will get exposed, especially sort of defensive-minded midfielders and defenders, goalkeepers. At the age he is at, you're always going to get more mistakes and a bit more inconsistency. But it's a star signing, and you needed it. You needed it with some players going out, but it just shows that City they're not resting on their laurels. Kovacic in, now Gvardiol. They're probably going to bring in a Duku. Sorry, go on.
The players they sold, yeah? They sold James Trafford to Burnley for 19 million. Never played a game. They sold Shea Charles to Southampton for 15 million. Played one game, last game of the season. They just sold Carlos Borges to Ajax for 17 million. Never played a game. Yeah? The academy players that are leaving. I went to watch the under 23s last night, but they were the under 18s that have been moved up to under 23s. They played Chorley and they got beat 5-3. And all the academy players from last year that won the league, they're all currently being sold or let go on free transfers with buybacks because there's not enough room for them. And they'll sell Laporte. So they're going to get, 50 mil for Laporte at least. They're going to sell, they might get rid of Walker. I don't know. But there's going to be definitely players going soon. Cancelo, what would you get for him? 50, 60? So... the City, what they've spent on Gvardiol, that's coming back straight away on outgoings. So you'll find that when you look at it this season, City ain't going to spend anything because they'll just recoup it in fees. So
yeah, you've made a lot of money coming in, and then you link to like the sort of Elise's and Dooku's on that right hand side, good young talent. And I think a player like that, if Bernardo Silva's staying, which it looks like he is fine because you've got him as the experienced player on the right, with an Elise or a Dooku who's going to be nurtured over the next couple of years by Pep Guardiola. So, yeah, the window's looking like it's going to be solid for yourselves. Are you feeling ready for the new season and sort of the Community Shield game on Sunday?
Yeah, well, the Community Shield game's a weird one, man, because we don't seem to turn up in them games. I don't know what it is, but it's just a good to get you out there. We've had a good pre-season. We've had 3 really good games. If Gvardiol can get signed in time for the Shield, it'd be good to see him. We definitely need a wide man. When you lose Gundogan and you lose Riyadh, you're losing 20 goals there over a season. If you bring in Kovacic, he don't score many goals. If you say Bernardo's going to play on the right, is he really going to score the goals? Foden in the middle can hit the Gundogan numbers, no problem. I'm confident of that. But we definitely need a wide player. I got told last night at the match off a guy that works for City that Barcelona want Cancelo, and they were trying to swap with Dembele. That's what I got told last night, and I don't think that's not going to happen. I don't think City play with that kind of winger, but the Dembele-Cancelo thing could have happened, apparently. If Pep would have wanted it, that could have happened. I believe City want a different kind of winger. They don't want a pacey winger. They want somebody that's going to keep the ball and keep it very slow. The build up, a bit like Jack on the other side. So I'm sure they've got targets in mind. I'd love to sign. I'd love them to sign the kid from Brighton, Mitoma. I like him. I think he's good. I think he's not a real gung-ho sort of winger. I think he can play nice football. But they're mentioning Doku, who was great. I think, did he play in the World Cup, Doku? Was it for France?
So. I remember,
he played all right. But he's only 21. I mean, and Elise, listen, he's got the talent. We know that. But I don't know if he's the right fit for us. I don't know. But I'm sure we're going to get someone in soon.
Yeah, I'm sure that you are. I think that your club always knows what they're doing. They would never. I think he plays. I think he's plays for Belgium rather than France. I think it's Belgium. I was just trying to. I remember seeing him play, but I couldn't remember it was. But yeah, Belgium. Yeah, but they're not far from each other. I think they speak French maybe there as well. But yeah, listen. Look, you guys know what you're doing. Mitoma would be a quality signing. Mitoma really would be, although I've only ever seen him play on the left, and that's Jackie Grealish's position, but he'd be a very, very good signing for you, I think. Very, very talented. I love the way he kind of holds the ball up. I'm intrigued to see how he improves this year and whether he can kind of go to another level. But he's not young, though, either. He's like 26. And that's what I think is interesting. A lot of people look at him and think, because they didn't know who he was. They talk about him like he's an 18, 19-year-old, but he's 26 years of age.
No, when I say kid, I call everyone kid. So that's just me and my general Manchester slang, innit? Our kid. But
also me and you are old, so all these footballers are kids to us because we're older than them all now. Like, it's different from when we were younger, and they all look like men. Now they all look like kids because we're old. But yeah, look, I think City are gonna. You're my favourites to win the league. You may not be ready at the start of the season. You may not start the best, but you know how you're going to turn things around. It's going to be hard for Arsenal, hard for Liverpool, hard for Man United to kind of catch you and stop you. By the way, viewers, member super chats, when you've got your anniversary as a member, they now show on StreamYard, so I can now show them, which is a great update from them. Twisted Bubba here says, how can potential be marquee? Define marquee. It's a good shout. I look at marquee signings as being the players your club are investing large amounts of money in. So if Chelsea City signed two players this summer, one for 77 million and one for 10 million, the marquee signing is the 77 million guy, even though it's potential. You're buying him at that price because you think he's going to turn into an absolute world-class star. So that would be sort of how I would determine it, my friend. But thank you. That's what I would personally say. This here from 40-year-old Virgin says, 40-year-old Virgil says, are we sure the Sheikhs aren't funding Burnley too?
Well, you never know. You never know.
Is it not worrying he was part of the 7-0 defeat, as in Gvardiol?
He got butchered. I was there, and he was well off it. But what happened was, he got hyped up in Leipzig about doing this hat-trick job on Haaland, and Haaland just thought, you know what, get back to the Etihad, we'll see. There was one where De Bruyne shot it, hit the bar, and before Gvardiol had even reacted, Haaland had got off the floor. He laid it to De Bruyne. De Bruyne shot it, hit the bar. Haaland had got off the floor, sprinted about 10 yards in front of him, jumped higher than anybody and headed it into the empty net. And Gvardiol was just looking around as if to say, what's happening here? You know what I mean? But
yeah,
we've all had them games, man. I remember Patrice Evra making his debut at the Etihad against Trevor Sinclair and got absolutely levered and banged all over and got took off Ferguson and made to watch the game because he didn't expect it. So
him and Vidic both played that game. I was there. I was living in Manchester back then, and I remember leaving. I remember going back to a pub, and everybody saying, "Why have we bought this shit? Who are these two? They're shit." I remember everyone saying it. And Evra spoke about that game many times, and he says two things that did him. He couldn't believe the pace of English football, firstly. And secondly, he was having to eat pasta and like dinner foods at 8 a.m. in the morning because it was a 12:45 kickoff. And he said it made him want to be sick because he wasn't used to it. And that's, as you say, sometimes it's an adaptation. And what Premier League teams do, in my opinion, now more recently in the Champions League compared to years back, is we play at Premier League pace in the Champions League now. For some weird reason, we used to slow our football down against the European teams and try and play like them. It never used to make sense. This year from Lengen Sweet, he says Gvardiol is the best centre-back in the world, passing ability-wise, for Laporte. The aggression of Stones, the pace of Ake, and the defending of Diaz. Gvardiol and Diaz is a wall, is what.
Listen, I'll tell you the truth. He isn't the best centre-back in the world. He's nowhere near it. He's a young lad with a lot of potential. He's going to sign for Manchester City and play under Pep Guardiola and learn off Diaz and Ake and Akanji and all them boys that have got a bit of experience. The Man City fans will know that we don't expect too much from him. His first season, let him come in, learn the ropes and let him grow. I don't think there's a better environment for him to be at as a young, upcoming centre-back playing in a system that Pep's invented now with 4 centre-backs at the back. He can literally play anywhere he wants. So, yeah.